And we are back, everybody. The Daniel Duncan Show is finally back.
Yes,
Um,
sir. We back.
After a nearly month-long hiatus, we finally made it to the end of the NBA season. And now we are
Yep.
on game two of the finals that just concluded. Um, Apologies to all the viewers out there who have been anticipating episodes. That is on me. I have been trying my hardest to graduate college, and it finally happened. And me and Dan celebrated all weekend, had a
Yep.
really fun time. Um, but yeah, we are very eager to get back into it. Dan has been the most patient co-host throughout this process. And
Yep.
so, yeah, we are finally back, Dan. How have you been since the last time the fans have seen you?
This was our main priority. I wanted to make sure that you were done with school and all graduated. We had a great weekend this week, and I'm just glad to be back and doing this show with you.
That's what we love to hear, and hopefully the fans will appreciate now that we're back. Um, so yeah, before we get into this game two of the NBA Finals, the people got to know, Dan, what's on your feet today?
Let me get to that
Oh yeah,
sparkly pink.
with a little
These,
gold accent.
yeah, little gold. These are the.
Nice.
I was gonna bring them over yesterday, but I was like, I'm going Converse.
Yeah. Still were pink Converse though.
Yep.
Okay. So, we've just watched game two of the NBA Finals. The Dallas
Let's
Mavericks
go.
were playing game two in Boston against the Celtics. And really good game in comparison to game one. Wasn't as much of a boat race, but the Boston Celtics ended up on top. Um, it's going to be very hard now going back the series, going back to Dallas, Dan. Talk to me about game two real quick.
So game two, I mean, this was one of the best matchups we've seen so far because game one was all Boston. They had the big lead, but I mean, it was a defensive minded, gritty, tough nose, hard nose, just trying to get back and forth,
Mhm.
and it was terrible shooting the ball to begin with. I mean, only 20% from 3-point range throughout the whole game. The first double digit lead was in the third quarter. Boston had a big lead of 13. Then Dallas was back and forth between Doncic, Kyrie doing his thing, the two big guys, Lively and Gafford. So it was back and forth, and then Boston, Derek White, big 3-pointer in the fourth. Pritchard had a buzzer beater at the third. So I mean, it was just one of those classic battles where it was just like who's going to get the ball last, basically. It was one of those type of battles.
Right, like you said, dude, the shots on either side weren't really falling in the first half. Um, and at least everybody except Luca, I think he had 20 at the half. So,
Yeah,
the
23 points at the half.
right, yeah. So,
Yep.
um, it was just whoever was going to start hitting shots first, and who was going to make the right adjustments at half as much as Lucas still finished, above 30 triple point, excuse me, 30 point triple double or triple double. He was the main facilitator throughout the game. I think he had half of the total assists for the team. So, um, like you said, it was a very much a defensive battle, just constant swinging the ball. And luckily for Boston, all of those swing passes ended up with, people like Derek White and Drew Holiday. knocking down clutch shots. We've seen Tatum throughout the playoffs um, just struggle to find his footing, struggle to
Yeah,
shoot from beyond the arc. So as far as supporting cast goes, it's just like Coach Kidd said, Jason or Jaylen Brown's probably the best player, but there's a new best player every game for Boston. And so
yep,
just thinking about, if Kyrie isn't going to show up, LD just has to do so much, dude. And
yeah.
so it just he seems, he needs quite a bit of help up there.
Going into the game, the preparation into this game, I heard JJ Redick and I heard Doris Burke, and the main reason for Dallas to get within single digits back and forth, they had to have good, solid rotations back and forth, just moving the ball, getting it isolated, getting their players involved. Because in game one, if you saw, it was all Boston. They had a big lead. Their defense led them the entire way. They were
Hmm.
getting stops, they were getting those 50-50 ball rebounds. So they went into this game with the mentality of attacking, and they did a excellent job of doing that to begin with. And all game long they did. They made those big adjustments, play on play, just coming out with this amazing attack, just right off, just getting it underway.
Yeah, I mean, Luca triple double, but had 8 turnovers, and a lot of that was because of Drew Holiday. Um, that possession late in the fourth quarter where Luca just to get it across half court in time had to chuck it, and of course, who else but Drew Holiday there
Oh
to
yeah.
eventually hit Derek White, I think. So, just that Boston 1 through 5 defensively, just very dominant. However, that leads us to the conversation you saw Porzingis get a little banged up, and
Yeah. Yep.
so yeah, so how do you think, depending on how he's doing, you think Dallas could be able to steal a game when they go to Dallas?
Yes, they will, and I think Porzingis will be fine. And the reason is, in the finals, you have a different time period. You have 3 day layoff. You have a 2 day layoff usually. So I feel like with that time and the timing, and especially the timing that he had in the previous rounds, recovering and just getting ready, I think he'll be ready to go. And I think Dallas steals game four. It will be 3-1 Boston. And then I think maybe Dallas gets a game. And then I think Boston gets it in 6 games.
Right. It's like obviously last round Dallas was able to steal both in Minnesota. They've been very reliant on their success on the road, being a lower seed. And so yeah, it's being down 2-0, man, it's just very, very intimidating, even if they're about to go to back home in Dallas. So, and I know Luke has been banged up too. So, like you said, those extra days of
Oh, yeah.
rest will definitely help. And hopefully Kyrie Irving, how it's what 12 straight games he's lost to
Yeah.
Boston. You were telling me just how ruthless the crowd has been to him. And so do you think he's going to be able to pick it up once he gets out of town?
Yeah, I think so. I think game three, you'll see him because you see teams when they get into the finals, every analyst and every media personality is like, where is he? He's disappeared. He hasn't even he's had a quiet game. But I feel like he'll come out of it, he'll get out of it, and he'll perform because everybody's saying, "Oh, Luca and Kyrie versus Tatum and Brown." So far, Kyrie has just been absent. He hasn't even been
Yeah.
scoring.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been flustered by the Boston crowd, and um, he's got to be up there with LD as far as just, you're in the NBA Finals. Kyrie, he's got the experience of being there before. And so I'd like to see him take on a bigger responsibility. Luka just, 8 turnovers are, a product of him having the ball all the time. And so
Yeah.
if they can have other people facilitate, maybe let Luka set up off ball or something, or so I don't know. It's just Kyrie needs to show up, considering that they don't have the same depth that Boston does.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And also, Minnesota blitzed and swarmed and went after Dallas in the conference final round. Boston is different. They go one on one. It's just straight up, and whoever is right around the basket, they either score or the defense gets the rebound. We saw some plays tonight where Kyrie was going for a layup, and then the ball got swiped from him. He went into the corner and he traveled. So it's just one on one defense. There's no swarming, there's no suffocation. It's just all one on one, just straight up, straight man winning those matchups.
Yeah, so I think I agree. I think they need to move away from that just kind of one-on-one type of matchup, and um, start, make get the Celtics defense tired, keep swinging it around, and
Yeah.
but guys need to start hitting shots. I understand, with money situations, a player like Derek Jones Jr., you only have so much money, so a league minimum guy like him, it's just, up against Boston, it's hard to compare that way. It's hard to match up well. So, um, but yeah, series goes back to Dallas for game 3. Um, but you think this is the Celtics series?
This is games. They'll have a 3-1 lead, but it will go six.
Okay. But um yeah, so far though, it's been a really fun series to watch, and it's tough because, as a Milwaukee Buck fan, seeing Drew Holiday, playing, just
Yeah.
the trade, it'll, if Boston ends up winning, this Damian Lillard trade will be spoken about for years to come. And so just thinking about Marcus Smart, he was the heart and soul of that defense for so long, and then making their trade for Derek White, um, replacing Marcus Smart and then Robert Williams with Drew Holiday and
Oh, yeah.
Porzingis. It's like, talk about an off season. Both of these teams, they made, they've proved that, going out and making these trades, Gafford and PJ Washington. Gafford had a nice game today. So I commend both of the front offices for, feeling these teams to get to this point, but just the depth on Boston, the defense, it's incredible.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. They've done the research. They've added key pieces. They've had young players come in and develop, and it's just amazing. And they've hit gold. They've struck gold, especially Boston with adding Holiday and Porzingis. That was one of the best pickups that they've done, and what they really needed to get over the hurdle and the hump to win a finals. They haven't won since '08. So I mean, having those key guys is really, really huge for Boston.
Do you think you have in mind yet who you might think will win Finals MVP if it ends up being Boston?
Yeah, I do. it's going to be the man wearing number 7,
Ooh.
Jaylen Brown.
Dude, that him and Derek White, that block at the end of the game.
Oh
Holy
man, that
cow.
was huge.
Yeah,
That
dude,
was
because
so
what? It
huge.
would have been a 3-point game, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that, yeah, that talk about clutch defensive plays that'll be talked about, for years to come if they end up winning. That was a very sneaky late comeback from Dallas, but
yeah.
um, gosh, what a play. And for Brown to, keep his hands away and not push him or save the contact, just really smart play.
Spot
And
on play. It
Yeah,
was,
yeah, and
yeah.
then Dallas, at that point, I think they hit Boston hit a three, and it was wraps from there. So it's going to be a very daunting test uh, for the Mavericks as they come home. But I agree with you, dude. I think makes a lot of sense if they can get a game at home, but um, unless Boston's guys start to falter, I think it's their series to win.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's one of those things that we haven't seen in over, 16 plus years. They came close in 2010, came close in 2022. This is their time. They've really just the core values and the core pieces that they've had on that team. They're just championship ready. Doncic, he's going to have to wait a little bit. I really not huge on the whole Doncic and Kyrie combining up together,
Yeah.
but I feel like he's got to wait a couple of more chances.
Right, dude. Like you said, it's his first finals. His story, similar to we were talking about Jason Tatum, it's,
Yep.
he's been here before, so he knows what it's like to lose. Um, but yeah, it's hard to figure out the right complementary pairing with somebody like Luka Doncic. Similar to, a lot of players in the NBA. It's hard to mesh well, somebody like Giannis with, Damian Lillard, obviously, you know,
Yep.
as much as they both had great years, I don't know if that really unlocked both of their potentials. So it's been
It's
really
like
good.
this, if I don't mind adding it.
Yeah.
It's like the passing of the torch.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it throughout NBA history,
Mm-hmm.
even going back and looking at old footage. It's like the younger team with very little experience, they get to the finals, they think, they can show what they're made of,
Mm-hmm.
win a few games or not even win a game.
Yeah.
Like when Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway were together in Orlando. It
Right.
was like one of those scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially since Luca, he slows down the pace of the game very much. And as much as, the NBA is a very uh in comparison to, other forms of basketball, it is pretty slow, but it's all about, trying to find the type of people that will be able to excel at that pace of play. And Boston has picked up that pace, and it's hard for Dallas to really counter that play style.
Yeah, it really has. And they're just going to be a good team in the future. Every step of the way, they make great moves to get great, valuable players, and they'll come around. They'll definitely be in the hunt in the next couple of years. The West will be stacked every year, and everybody's going to be talking about somebody else. But I mean, there's a lot of good teams that are young that up and coming. They're going to try and get a championship run. They're going to try and get there eventually.
Yeah, it's so hard to remember that Luca is still so young, coming into the league at 18.
13
So
years old, he signed a contract
it's
for Real
incredible.
Madrid.
That's
It's
right.
insane.
That's right. He has lived a whole life's worth of basketball at this point in his career. And, he's gonna, like you said, he will get there. He totally will get there to becoming an
Yeah.
NBA championship champion. But um, but yeah, we're very looking forward to the rest of this series. Um, is there anything else you'd like to add, Dan?
This has been one heck of an NBA season. We've seen incredible dominance from young players, great teams that make great runs towards the end. And it's just been incredible to watch in and out during the years. I mean, I've seen regular season wise a little bit, and then when the postseason hit, I've watched basically every game just over and over again. And I just really have enjoyed this. I'm waiting for the announcement of the Supersonics to be back. Hopefully, I need Adam Silver to come out with an announcement. I need Seattle back. I need to represent Gary Payton, Sean Kemp. I need everybody to just rally around and get that franchise back in Seattle.
Yeah, dude, there'd be just a hole in our region's heart, without the presence of an NBA team for so long, getting them stolen from us. So, um, it's hard, and Portland's our closest team, and Portland's in just
Yeah,
such a weird place as a franchise right now. And so
yeah,
just we have, we were so young when the Sonics were taken from us. So
yeah.
it's that the rivalry, between the Trailblazers and Sonics, we don't really know much about it. We didn't get to experience it. And so um, it would just, it would fill our hearts, if we had an NBA team and, cut the whole mid-season tournament BS and
Oh my God, dude, that is just the craziest, bizarrest thing that ever got in
right.
in for the NBA because it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I get the whole thing about like changing up the courts and everything, which is
Yeah.
nice to be honest. But it's
Right.
like, to be honest, it sounds like a PE class gym classification type award thing that should
Yeah.
never be implemented in
Right.
professional sports.
I absolutely agree. It's like I understand the whole mindset of like wanting your players to, to combat load management and having your players, be locked in throughout the entire season. But in the grand scheme of things, like you said, it feels like an elementary trophy type of award. So that's the only stain on Adam Silver's reputation so far. He just needs
Yeah,
to bring us back a team.
he's done good things, but it's just the in season tournament and I don't know. He's trying to get in the list of expansion teams before like the top two, like Seattle and Vegas. He
Hmm.
was trying to get like Vancouver back because they had the Grizzlies. He's
That's
trying to get
right.
like an expansion team down
Yeah.
there.
I mean, that would be another Northwest team to have in our area, dude. It's just, luckily we have great high school and college programs within our region, but man, it would be so cool to have the
Can you
Grizzlies.
imagine?
Yeah,
Can you imagine if we had Seattle, Vancouver, and then Portland?
right. And then seeing the Thunder play against the Sonics, a new rivalry.
Oh, dude, Seattle fans will be throwing things onto the floor. They would
Yeah,
they would be
yeah.
throwing like domestic beer
It
bottles.
looked like a European soccer match.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they would be saying some expletives. They would be
Hmm.
there'd be a rowdy crowd if that happened, dude.
Yeah. Holy, we would be there.
They would they would have fans like in effigy of Clay Bennett. They would put like a dunk tank out to see if they could
Yeah.
like punch it or like have like a
Yep.
basketball near it.
Yep.
It would be something else, dude.
Everybody gets shirts with his face on it with like an X.
Yeah. Or they have like a little like grave that says "Rip." Clay
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, we miss NBA over here, but that doesn't deter us from still following it, still
I
being
think
locked in.
Bezos is going to own the team.
It would make sense, right?
I think he'll
Got the
own the
cash.
team.
You gotta make it happen. He
Yeah.
got an arena,
Yeah.
so but that also means, with speaking of the Climate Pledge arena, we'll be able to talk more WNBA too throughout the
Yes.
next episode. So um
Yeah.
but yeah, we will be locked in throughout the rest of the finals. We'll be pumping out episodes at the end of each game, and we'll have more to discuss within each episode. But for today, we just wanted to get on and recap game two. Um, but yeah, this
Yeah.
is great
Recap
to be
it.
back,
Get
Dan.
it over with.
Yeah, great to be back.
It's a welcome back, man.
Welcome
Yeah.
back is right. So,
Welcome
yeah,
back. One other thing. One other thing, dude.
yeah.
Caitlin Clark, man. She's been harassed by some media recently.
That's right, dude. I think we will have a lot to talk about in the next episode about that, but you're right, dude. A lot of the people right now in the media do not know how to talk about WNBA. And
Yeah.
so it's put a lot of the players in an interesting spotlight, and Caitlin Clark, feel for her. There's no other basketball player that's talked about more in the world than
Oh
Caitlin
yeah.
Clark. So
Respectively in the league.
respectively. So, and we got one of the biggest Caitlin Clark fans here hosting this
Yes.
show. So
Yes.
if you're here for Caitlin Clark content, be on the lookout for it because it's coming.
Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're gonna find it,
Yep. So, but yeah, Dan, that's been another great episode. Great game two tonight. But yeah, we will look forward to seeing everybody for game three, once that's over. But we're just really glad to be back, giving everybody content, talking to everybody, and so yeah. Any final words, Dan?
Thank goodness we're back. I enjoy this show. I enjoy you.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have an amazing NBA finals. Thank goodness you graduated college.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can just, have a lot of free time on our hands whenever and
Right.
just start coming up with some ideas here and there.
Absolutely. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another episode of the Daniel Duncan Show. Um,
Man, the myth, the legend.
we will see you guys soon. Peace out.
See you soon. Peace. Peace.